Hey everyone, welcome to the varCODE Edtech YouTube channel. So in this we are going to start the series on AngularJS, how AngularJS works and everything whatever you need to have the knowledge, have the basic knowledge and advanced knowledge related to the AngularJS. I am going to cover everything inside this series. So this is our first video and this video is going to be introductory. You need to see this image only for the whole of the duration of this video. You are only going to hear my voice, right? And now we are going to see some basic points about Angular, how AngularJS works, right? What is AngularJS? So AngularJS is a front-end framework, and AngularJS used to create some open source web application, and it is very powerful, right? And you can create a dynamic and scalable web application using AngularJS. Now there is some features about AngularJS that AngularJS creates a single page application, right? What is single page application? Whenever you install this AngularJS inside your system, you can only see a single file which is displayed on the web browser, right? So inside your whole Angular project, you are only going to have only a single page, right? And whenever you want to create any other page, you are going to create that in the form of component, and then you can render that component onto the single page, right? I will explain you briefly about this when in the second video, when we start creating our Angular project, when we install the Angular project inside our system, right? So now Angular is developed by Google, and there is nothing much inside this, and you don't need to remember this, that who developed the Angular. And later on, moving on to the next part, which is two-way binding inside Angular. This is the second feature which I wanted to explain you about Angular, right? So what is the two-way binding? For example, uh, I will take an example for you, like there are some traits of your parents have passed from them to you, right? Suppose your nose can be same as your parents, suppose your eyes can be same as your mother or father, right? So that is the one way thing, right? One way transportation. Whenever your parents is sending some traits to you, this is the one way transportation, right? Now what two way transportation is, you cannot send your traits again to your parents, right? If you have a unique nose, if you have a unique eye, you cannot send that trait to the parents again, right? If you can send, that is the two-way transformation, right? Two-way transmission. Now inside the two-way data binding, same thing is going to happen. Whatever we are sending from the higher order component, like whatever we are sending from the higher order file to the lower order component, or you can say the file, then it can easily go from the higher order to lower order. Now again, if you want to send some data from the lower order component to the higher order component, you can do that too. So for now you can just understand these things in theoretical. You can understand these things in theory only, but when we do the practical, then you can see how we can do this, right? So later on we have the third feature is routing inside Angular. So how routing works, for example, if you go on to some website, suppose if you go on to the varcode.in, right, and you want to go on about us page, right? So you can see the endpoint / about us inside the URL, right? So this is the routing. Whenever user will navigate from one page to another, this is known as routing. So for routing, we don't have to install any third-party library inside our Angular project. Angular automatically provides one routing module which is already present inside the Angular project. You just need to import it. Now moving on to the fourth feature, I guess it will be the dependency injection. So for understanding the dependency injection, you need to understand two things. First is the loose coupling, and the other thing is tight coupling. Now what is the loose coupling and tight coupling? For example, firstly we will talk about the tight coupling, right? So for example, you are sending some data from one file to another file inside Angular, and you are sending it. For example, I have a variable name of let a equal to 10, right? And I'm not going to change that variable name continuously at any interval of time. I am not going to change the 10 value to something else, right? So this we can achieve with the help of tight coupling. Whenever you are sending any data which you are never going to change, that will be inside the tight coupling. And whenever there is some data which you want to change, for example, you are integrating any API, let's take an example of weather API. You are integrating a weather API, and the data is continuously updating. After 1 second, after 1 minute, the data is updating, right? So we are going to send that data with the help of loose coupling, right? So this is what tight coupling and loose coupling is. So now back to the topic, which is dependency injection. So dependency injection are of two types. One is the loose coupling dependency injection, the other is tight coupling dependency injection. So inside the loose coupling dependency injection, if you want to send some data from one file to the another file, and the data is going to be changed continuously after every interval of time, right? So we are going to send that data with the help of loose coupling dependency injection, and if the data is constant, you are never going to change it, then you can send it by using a tight coupling dependency injection. That's how this dependency injection works. Moving on to another feature. So basically AngularJS simplifies your front-end development. Why? Because every tool which you need to create a web application, a front-end application, it is already present inside your Angular project. You just need to import it from the node module folder. We are going to follow the component based architecture. So what happens here is, as I told you before, that we are going to, this Angular is a single page application, right? So inside the single page application, we are only going to have one single page, and whatever we are going to create, suppose if you want to create a navbar, you are going to create a one component with the name of navbar. You are going to write code which is related to the navbar, and we are going to import that component inside the main single page, right? That's how the component based architecture works. Okay, and we have a seamless integration inside Angular. So what happens is, for example, if I take an example of React.js, so in React.js, whenever you want to connect your Node.js or Express.js, and you are creating any API inside your Node.js, and you want to send that data from that API to the React.js, right? What we have to do is, we need to create two different folders. One is the client folder, the other is server folder. Inside the client folder, we have our React application, but inside the server folder, we have our backend, which is present in, suppose, Node.js and Express.js, right? Now what happens is, both of these are running on different ports, right? Let's take an example that React is running on port number 3000, and your Node.js is running on port number 4200. So you need a coarse policy between them to transfer any data from one port to another port, right? Otherwise it will be restricted. So what happens in Angular is, both front end and back end are running on the same port, and it will be easier for you to integrate any of the API to send the data from your front end to the back end, or from the back end to the front end. So it will be very easier. Okay, so I guess that's it for the introductory video. In the next video, we are going to start with the installation of project, and I'm sharing you every details in the PPT in the comment section. In the description, so you can go there and check the PPT for the introductory video, and also subscribe to our channel and like this video. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.